Welcome back to the Torque Test channel. Last time we tested new Hyper Tough Gen 2 stuff from Walmart, we were left wanting more, and you guys were wanting more as well. When we bought that first round, our stores didn't have this big guy, their new high torque yet. Today we rectify that, and by popular request, on top of their largest impact include today their smallest. Their new impact driver up against what they are most likely trying to target with this new offering, along with what we think is their closest value competition models from Harbor Freight. So we're going to see what they can do in torque, driving speed, take a peek inside one of these versus some top names, which, by the way, are all made in the same country after all, and even see if their current modest offering of batteries is leaving even more potential on the table by looking at tabless battery tech and slamming it into this thing. Their latest stuff so far has been sometimes pretty good, sometimes almost feels impossibly good, and at prices that will make pretty much all the other tool brands blush for charging what they do. Let's dive in. This is the all-new HyperTough 80287, which is their high torque impact wrench. Now, most of this new black label HyperTough stuff is what we're considering Gen 2. But I don't believe they've even made a high torque until now, but this is it. It's brushless, and yeah, design-wise, it should come at no surprise that it looks like the ubiquitous, been seen in every shop around the country for years, Milwaukee Gen 2. This new guy is 8.44 inches long, the M18 is 8.4 inches long, but also a little bit lighter at 5.7 pounds bare, 7.25 with a battery. The main difference here is going to be the HyperTough is $99.88 as a kit. With a 4 amp hour battery and their latest, least terrible slide-on charging dock, it's $99. If you walk into Home Depot, that's how much you're paying for a single 2.0 M18 battery. This comes with a 4 amp hour battery, charger, and high torque for 11 cents less than that. Yeah, so that's the main attraction, but also maybe we're not expecting to beat the Milwaukee per se. So over here, mainly we want to see how it does against what we consider to be currently the top value in high torques, Harbor Freight, since Amazon half-inch high torques pretty much all suck. And that comes in the form of their Hercules Gen 2 Ultra Torque, which is even $10 less than we paid for it when it came out, but that's still $190 spare. And also the Bauer High Torque, maybe thus far maxing out value at $129 bare. It'll be included herein for fun to see where this new guy places. Our first test is an industry standard test we're replicating called Working Torque. It's 5 seconds and forward. All 4 and 5 amp hour batteries for each of these brands that offer either a 4 or a 5. HyperTough is in black. $547 foot-pounds. That's not bad at all. It's actually trending so far around the Hercules and M18, and let's not forget, that's not just a Hercules high torque, that's the Hercules Ultra Torque and their Gen 2 version at that. That's good company to keep. Let's head over to reverse max torque in a 10-second test, also showing the median result of 3 runs like the last one. Here's the new HyperTough, once more taking on the Bauer Hercules and M18. $718 foot-pounds. The Hercules definitely has things beat overall on the curve over, well, the Gen 2 Milwaukee at least, and this HyperTough. If this was doing as good as or topping the Bauer here, like the lower one that finished, it would be hitting above its pay grade in my opinion, but so far it's more like the impressive compact from HyperTough we tested, just doing way better than it has any right to do. Here it is to settle the score, the top numbers it can make for us off a fresh charger. $774 foot-pounds. The Gen 2 Milwaukee makes $778. It took a few years, sure, but what you have here is basically a sleeper budget model version of the M18 2767 at a $90 price point as a kit. That Hercules we showed on the curve does well, but also makes for a $340 kit. The Milwaukee, about $400, 4 times the price for around the same wheelhouse of bolts being tackled. That is, unless you want to spend even more money on batteries. Both the red and blue brands have up to 12 amp hour packs available. For now, HyperTough 20 volt is maxed out at 4 amp hours. Maybe something they should work on if more Gen 2 like this is in the pipeline. Let's see, to find out, we purchased a HyperTough to DeWalt battery adapter. DeWalt simply because they usually regulate the packs in the tool itself, so the batteries can be convinced to open the floodgates without much in the way of that, and their new tabless 8Ah power pack should do the trick. To see if there's already some performance left on the table, we started with your run-of-the-mill 5Ah XR battery here. Wouldn't rule out the HyperTough for already being a bottleneck if it was designed for past HyperTough tools. In this case, the curve looks pretty similar up until the tool didn't like it very much and stopped running a couple seconds before the end, meeting what the OEM pack hits. Now, impacts we usually hit a few times on and off in real life anyways, and that makes for about 794 with those 2 seconds added. Might work fine for you most of the time, but thought we'd show this either way. Enough child's play though. There's some batteries that we've confirmed fall in between these two, but unsurprisingly, this new 8Ah power pack, well, just watch this, conventional 12Ah packs on the other two models on screen. What an absolute untamed beast. No difference between test runs. This was back-to-back. This thing with the tabless pack is like a DeWalt DCF 961 in that it hits VTech and just look at that curve separation. It leaves the others in the dust for whatever reason. 892 is like DeWalt DCF 900 in Milwaukee Gen 3 territory. No joke. I've not seen something like this before. Sometimes we get a little bit of a bump for a good sized gain. Not a Gen 2 Milwaukee to Gen 3 Milwaukee high torque difference from a simple battery adapter. The adapter surprisingly doesn't suck all that much either for a retail one we just bought. We'll link that. Let's rank this thing though. It should do well, but I mean, it's both surprisingly good and fun when you do stupid stuff with it. And it's 99 bucks. Regardless of where it places here, I would buy one of these just straight up. Why not? Alright, starting below the very good Hercules Gen 2 Ultra Torque, its test runs are converted into points in the form of 55, 72, and 77. At 8.44 inches long, that's pretty decent among most high torques. It gets 91.7 points for that. It made as much as 94% of its advertised tightening numbers with any battery you can buy from them. Same as Hercules, it's pretty good. For the price, it just exceeds 100 where we have a max in place we've always used, so it gets 100 here, something we've never hit, going on 55 high torques now, so that's a new record. Nice. This totals up to 489.7 points, moving it up from here just a smidge above the Flex and below the Gen 3 Milwaukee somehow. Definitely swinging above its pay grade up here for value reasons, but hey, you can buy this 2.5 to 3 times to match these bare tools. Does it compare on raw performance? Not as much. In average power torque per second across the run average, it places here because these brands above it have access to much larger batteries under the brand. So all said, not shabby at all, especially if they eventually come out with new batteries. Alright, one more new HyperTough, then we'll crack this thing open. The all-new gen brushless impact driver from Walmart HyperTough. 3 months ago, I wouldn't have thought that much worth your time to even watch, but a lot of you guys requested this to be added, and frankly, yeah, we're on board with this crazy train. Let's see what it can do. The advertising on this one is 1,800 inch-pounds, which is no small number for an impact driver. Thought it might just be their new compact impact wrench with a hex cullet, but it is different in most dimensions, and yes, it's 44 bucks and 88 cents, again, as a kit, because of course it is somehow. If other brands have stopped charging 120 bucks for an impact driver and are now moving to 150 and 180 bucks for a bare impact driver, why not charge sub 50 for a kit? The only thing that touches that these days is the Bauer brushless from Harbor Freight. That's rated at 2,000 inch-pounds, same as Milwaukee's 2853 in that regard. I don't think we've ever shown this on the channel. We did buy it and test this probably a year ago or so and rank it on the leaderboards. You might have seen it there if you have. We do that once in a while when timing-wise it doesn't fully make it into a video that we're working on. This was $50 on purchase. It's $40 these days. Harbor Freight is one of the only ones rolling back some of their prices. While that's still possible these days, we're going to head right into max torque here with these guys along with the Milwaukee 2853. Both the Bauer here and the HyperTough coming up aren't what you'd call super compact. The Bauer taking the honors and being even a bit longer. It sounds a bit unlike your typical impact driver. but it puts down some sauce. Let's see that and this new Walmart guy up against the M18, using both its included 2 amp hour battery and an optional 4 amp hour battery that will compare closest to the 4s and 5s used on the other 2 tools here. 156 foot-pounds from the equal battery type Hyper Tough. That's not bad. The Bauer beating it here and performing more like the M18 with 175, and the Milwaukee most impressive overall, and just for a 2853 model. That was reversed. Let's see the direction they're more often used in as a driver forward. Here they all are again. $162 foot-pounds, improving a bit versus the Bauer here, but not able to quite edge it out. The Bauer's a lot of tool when we're talking about per dollar performance here as well. Let's take a look at those standings. This is where the Bauer placed here. It's quite good, only missing a smidge of torque and some size difference here. The new brushless Hyper Tough gets 26, 31, and 32 points as a function of the test that we ran with it on the day. It's a little bit shorter, but also 29.6 points as a function of that length implies it's still a little bit less than the Bauer even per inch. It did make its torque claims though, which most impact drivers do on this channel, so always good to see. It's hard to place versus bare tools as a only sold in a kit tool here, but it gets, as we see it, 32.4 points for value, a record in the category, sort of no matter how you figure it. That's 251 points even, placing it in between these 2 DeWalts here. In driving speed, we found it does impress though, running down with an extra deep 8-inch long socket, a 3/4 inch nylon nut, or some constant resistance. It gets even close to the latest gen Milwaukee 2953, around 5 3/4 seconds or so. That's impressive, we feel, for a $45 kit tool. In the great value wars, it would seem to us, overall, the Bauer has the edge in an impact driver, and Hyper Tough has an edge for the high torque. So assuming you're only picking up a single battery platform for the dollar, who are we choosing in 2025? Yeah, it's going to be Hyper Tough. It's a strange new world. The high torque is better over the Bauer than their impact driver is over this Walmart one. The compact that they have under the brand is just crazy good for what it is. And these all include a 3-year warranty, which you won't get on the Bauer. You can purchase something close. You do on a Hercules, but even that one's compact. This is just not it, guys. Harbor Freight can do better than this. The insides of these tools, you might not be surprised to find, are simple and yet similar to the last gen Milwaukee stuff. In a lot of ways, I don't see anything glaringly cheap. It's PA6, dual injection molded nylon body parts, potted electronics, similar hammer weight to the Gen 2 Milwaukee as well. It's just over 2 pounds versus 2 pounds 4.5 ounces for the Milwaukee. Who knows though, we'll see how much that 3-year warranty ends up costing Walmart if these do all bite the dust. Unlike a lot of brands, you're not going to go bankrupt finding out in the process. Hopefully this kind of trend is even possible to continue into the future, and mid-tier brands learn to become also mid-priced once again. To see if that happens real time, we make videos every Friday. There's a button you can click below to be shown those sometimes. Thanks for watching.